The documentary Raising America kind of freaked me out, I'm not gonna lie. I've always wanted to be like a mom, and that's like been my greatest dream, I guess. I've always planned having at least four kids. I'm the third of four, so I really do want like a big family. And and then I watched this documentary and I was like, "Oh man." Like um I think what really got me was they were explaining how there's sometimes no paid maternity leave, and then also like parents are trying to balance a list of commands from their everyday lives that don't have an easy solution. And society has accepted this as a complex norm of raising a family instead of trying to adapt towards a family, towards the family dynamic. And I think those two things were kind of like crazy because, I mean, I watched my parents go through it with raising the four of us. We all played soccer, we all swam, we all did different sports, and my parents were getting pulled in every which direction. And then my mom would have back to school nights, or she would have her own work meetings, or my dad would have to travel for work, and they'd be constantly trying to juggle our needs plus their needs. And I think that made me more appreciative towards how much they were doing for us. But it also um and I like can see the balance, but then like seeing it in the movie, or how they weren't parents sometimes can't always make those hard decisions, and there are hard decisions, and sometimes jobs don't give you that flexibility. And that's what something that really drives me to be a teacher is my mom was in the schools, so she was always home for the summers, and I really love that. And that's like something I want to do with my own kids, is having time to go with them over the summer for little adventures. um but then they said brain connections aren't built on autopilot, so it's up to the parents and also the teachers to give those kids new experiences of to see the new things in the world and make more brain connections. And I think that was really interesting. And then also they were talking about how your third grade reading level predicts your high school graduation rate, and I thought that was kind of crazy. And I don't know how accurate that can be, because in third grade I didn't really know how to read. I was just figuring out how to do schooling with my disabilities. And I think if in third grade you were to tell me this is my graduation rate, I don't think people would have thought I would have made it through one of the hardest high schools in my area. um but again, that's just one of the statistics. But they also tied in with that how many words you know, it's is how you read, and the words you know is coming from your environment. And I think that helps me see that as a teacher and as a future parent, I really need to have an enriched environment. And you really want to make your kids in any area see different kinds of environments and learning, and just always use an opportunity to learn. And I do this when I nanny. I always am slipping in little things of learning and letters with the 3-year-old, just so he can see and is getting that knowledge without knowing it. We'll be playing cards, and I'll give him a password that starts, and he goes, I don't know it. And then he has to give me just a word that starts with P, and any word is fine, but it's just him pulling it from his own brain. I really think that is what I'm just enriching his environment, and I really do work to do that. And then finally, I really think they started off with this code, and I'm going to end with it just because it really was it really impacted how I thought of how I'm going to teach in the future. They said to ask how the world will be tomorrow, we need to ask what the kids are doing today. And that's 100% true. Whatever we're doing with the kids of today is how the future is going to be in 20 years. These kids need to be given everything that we can give them, And as a society, we need to work towards equipping them with the best knowledge so that they can run the world better than we are, because I think there's some disconnect, and I think that we can do better by teaching our kids to do better. And I think in my classroom, I'm definitely going to pull this quote with me and take it for a long time, and just know that like these kids are the future, and you need to put everything into that, because if they're kids in your classroom, they're going to be the kids that are helping your future kids. Like they're going to be the kids that help my kids get their first job and so it really is like a give and take kind of thing. So I really did think this documentary was I like this one the most out of all of the ones that we've watched so far.